Okay, let's try and do our usual end of the year stream thing and speculate on what's happening. By the way, it's just a plan, and plans change. Sometimes life intervenes. I'm sure I was sitting here last year indicating some things on the horizon, only to see them not happening still in 2023 because we needed more time. Yes. So don't take us literally that these things are definitely in the works, hopefully coming next year, but you never know. Sometimes we are waiting for CAD files for half a year because the partner people are busy. Sometimes a licensing issue pops up with requests for some alterations or changes. Sometimes it's something internal depending on technology that is yet to be fully developed or optimized before we can introduce the feature. Here we have a selection of things.
It's not all the projects. It's definitely
not all the projects.
Not the projects, yeah.
We basically got to approach the teams on a short notice to send us some material that they would want to showcase, and then we were quite cruel about only selecting a subset of it. A lot of it will not be shown today because we thought let's keep it as a surprise for future.
The second probably most frequent was Project Polar Circle, as we call it as of now here. Yeah, so let's go for that one. So what's to tell about this? I believe we can say that this is gonna be one of the next ETS2 map expansions.
We got to a point where we have basically 3 teams across ETS2 universe, 2 teams going forward and 1 team going kind of backward and reworking existing areas, which is a major progress for us. ETS2 was for a long time based on one project at a time for the new content, for the new DLCs. It's always a struggle, but now we have barely enough senior people, just about barely enough people capable of handling larger teams, coordinating across various departments. So we dared to start 2 projects in parallel, and people already know about Greece as the more immediate goal on our horizon, but already work is real production work, not just research or not just like pre-production, but actual production work has started on the following DLC that should go out after Greece. And I guess the working title, Polar Circle, suggests that we want to cover things up north. Currently, our coverage ends up at the level of Stockholm. We are not going much further, much more north than that. And we have such a large region to cover there, so much like wild nature, so much incredible stuff, fjords and the mountains and all that.
Apparently, I don't know if chat can read the names of the images. For example, this is named Norway Gillesfjord, if I'm pronouncing that right. Never been there, but I kind of want to now.
They always have tricky names up north, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I guess there's a lot of placeholders in the scene still. It's like basic blocks that the map designers use to represent the future high detail model or landmark there, just to get the feel for the place and move things around until they are happy. And then in another stage, maybe half a year later or at some point in the future, the 3D assets team goes over the placeholders and replaces them with the final art. Okay, so lots of nature, obviously. Some regions in our game, in our universe, are more about the cities and the human work. The landscape has changed by us people, but this one DLC definitely gives a lot of breathing room for exploring vast, untouched regions of wild nature. For like this Zen driving thing, I think this is going to be ideal. This is not final work, but as the map team is going over the creation of the world, they work in what they call iterations, which are like official steps where they do the iteration. Maybe in the first one, they check economic consistency because they may need to make sure that particular checkboxes are checked, like distances between like the nodes on the economy network and all that. And then they give it to testers, they verify that these things work, then they go back to working on the next iteration. And over like 4.5 iterations with the final optimization step, final polishing step, they get to the desired results. So there is a lot of work in that. This is definitely not a 2024 project. We're looking forward to seeing this materialize because this is quite a big piece of land to cover with some fantastic nature.
Someone is asking in the chat if we will add this DLC to Steam soon. Yes, we plan to. But as you can see, for us to be able to put them up, you need to have a few images, few assets, to be able to push them through Steam. And as of now, we are not really ready. This is another folder about Greece. it's awesome to see in the chat that even at this stage, someone can recognize the junction.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. But, I mean, it's an impressive junction. It's the size of it and the complexity of it. It looks pretty impressive so far.
From what I've heard, the team is really begging for support for creating lots of new rocky stuff, rocks, formations, like geology is super interesting. All the water bodies, all the seaside driving calls for improvement. Our internal kind of feature wish list is full of requests from the Greece team, as well as from the Polar Circle team, because also with the fjords and all the lakes and all that up north, improving our water look.
Yeah, this is Corinth Canal, as someone in the chat said, and it's really nice to see that people are saying things like nice touch with the drill lines on the side of the canals, like
the detail, the attention to detail is great. Just for the record, folks, that the road isn't that dangerous in real life. There will be other things built around the roads and land. And
no, it's like this.
This is final, right?
You won't be balancing up the canal. Yeah. Another lovely city scene here.
I wonder if we will be able to drive through this.
I like the scaffolding as well. Nice detail on that kind of building site and everything. Very cool. Again,
this,
very dense.
This kind of starts to look like Greece. I would probably
as a tourist, right?
Let's jump into the California rework images.
Let's take a look here. This is an ongoing project. Of course, we've had a couple of phases already.
This particular image is named like Almond Farm, and I believe that we actually have a dedicated blog post coming in the upcoming week or two related to this topic.
Indeed.
I mean, this is kind of obvious, right? It's London.
I think Golden Gate Bridge is being extended by one lane to be like closer to reality, because originally our game was like so tight and so squeezed with the 1:20 ratio. We cheated and didn't use the full lane width for the roads. There were multiple stages. There are multiple stages for California rework. Is this like called stage 4 or stage 3? Stage 3.
I think it's 3.
So, but it's not the final one, because we're going to get to the like San Francisco Bay Area and all that. Los Angeles and all that is like the next stage that's coming even later. So I guess that the rework team is going to be busy with California for most of the next year still. It's something that we need to do. We need to pay attention to the base games in both cases. Like Europe is currently working, Central Europe reworking Germany. For ATS, we are starting with the oldest area, which is California.
I'm always so impressed when I talk to the California rework team and they say, yeah, we've completely just deleted this whole area and reworked it from the ground up, completely from scratch.
It's the same thing with Austria, and now in the ongoing Switzerland, right? They too like
basically initially we call these things, what do we call them, reskins, but we go way beyond that, and the more we work on these things, the more we tend to really rip big parts of the existing contents out completely and replace them from stuff built from scratch. I think recently the map team has crossed across both games 100 people. So that's like like incredible that we are sharing the team size pretty much equally between American and Euro Truck simulators.
This is, by the way, LA according to chat. So it's actually already happening.
Is it happening, or maybe it's like already indicating stuff that's coming? Because I think the stage 3 thing that we agreed upon is almost done and dusted and should be just waiting for the release of 1.50.
Okay, let's stay for a while in ATS. Okay, so Nebraska or Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Okay,
which should be Arkansas, but
I still don't get it. Like, okay, but let's not start on that topic again. Like,
oh, look at that! That airport looks great.
Airport of some sort.
I remember this one. It's the Clinton National Airport. Someone is right in the chat. But the other ones I need to
some industries.
I need the text file.
Oh no, not all the answers.
It's Tire Factory in Texarkana.
With this confirmed Texarkana, we are continuing at the border between Texas and Arkansas.
This is some rest stop, I believe.
Rest area.
Again, you can see that the landmark buildings are still very much work in progress.
Some placeholders just to provide the volume for the future high detail stuff.
Yeah, people saying that this is Little Rock, which is it the capital city of Arkansas? Little Rock? I believe it is.
I think Arkansas should be a place with way more green to see along the roads than the Great Plain states that we have been through recently. I think that would be more typical for the southern states, like lots of water bodies and maybe some power plant or chemical plant in the background.
Okay, nice lake or pond.
Yeah.
All right, from the Nebraska team, we got real photos of their research trip.
That's not from the game, right?
That's not from the game.
That's from maybe from the research trip that the team has done to get the feel for the new area.
This is from the game.
Okay,
so I believe it's a comparison from the.
So they are trying hard to replicate it.
Yeah, so it's so hilly, right?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting so many hills.
Is that a goat?
Looks like it.
Goat confirmed.
So industries as well.
Wow.
Okay.
Big industry complex.
But that's from the game?
Yeah, that's from the game.
I thought it was a photo. Squinting my eyes, it feels real. Even though the DLCs are early in production, some areas the team is rushing to develop them to more kind of complete state just for the, I guess, mostly for the marketing team, for blog posts, for screenshots. Again, that's not a photo, right?
No, that's not a photo. I believe that's a close-up screenshots of one of the landmark churches, probably cathedrals, maybe even.
Cathedral, yeah. It's not often you see those types of cathedrals in the States. The old stone ones.
It feels more European.
Yeah, that's why all the US guys are traveling to Europe, right? To see all the churches and burgs and castles.
Like a town center or
town
something.
hall, yeah.
Dang.
That's a big, train intermodern, or how they call it.
Look how many lines there are.
Massive,
you can see them just stretching for miles and miles. Yeah, that's impressive.
Are those like train? Oh, yeah, they are.
I'm a little scared how the map team is expecting this to get filled, obviously, with train engines and train cars, and let's see how they manage to handle this.
Loving the cityscape. Very nice. Oh, look
this
at that.
To me kind of reminds like Utah a little bit.
Yeah, because of the rock formation, right?
We have one folder with not much of content to show, but still something for the next ATS state. First, let's play a real video that our guys who were doing the research trip to this state there took.
The chat is already speculating.
Chat is already speculating. So I was told that in this state, they are using these underground storages to, or even trucks and trailers, as you can see, to store basically anything from food to cars to, I don't know, furniture. I've seen the name of the state in the chat quite a lot, so you guys are right. But again, in the upcoming week, I believe, we do plan to reveal it and put up the Steam store page for this already ongoing project as well. So we will confirm later. Okay, then let's go for the folder named Parallax, and it's a small video, and we can play it, and then we can talk about a little bit. And honestly, I don't know much about it, but Pavel, you told me before the stream that you
I was like around when this was early prototypes were presented and when it was being developed, and it's been ongoing for over a year in SCS. And it's a little detail that kind of is not so crucial for the experience of a driver. Passing by buildings that are more believable day and night kind of improves the fidelity, improves the.
So it's about how the potential interior of the office building, for example.
It's a really smart shader trick that actually the interiors of the offices and little shops and all that, they are not 3D. They are actually a rendered 2D texture. We build the environment in 3D here, then put it into a special texture, and as you move around with the camera, it makes the impression of being 3D, even though it's not.
People are comparing us to GTA 6 in the chat. In this folder, we have a few photos of the ongoing construction of our
so that's relevant for the team here, not so much for people playing our games, but this is the building where we should be moving into, hopefully in not so distant future. I think the construction crane is no longer there. That may be a few weeks old already.
Just to put it right, we are not going to be having the whole building.
Yeah, it's not. We are not the only tenants.
It's not SCS
but
building.
At the same time, we have the 3 top floors of this building. Out of 7, we basically occupy 3.
Time flies. Sorry, chat. That's all. We need to end it up here. No. Vehicles folder. And here, as you can see, we have 8 more folders.
Oh my goodness.
EV, which stands for electric vehicles.
So that's not revealing that much. Just talking about it is kind of a confirmation that we have a lot of interest from our industrial partners to be a part of future releases of these vehicles. From my point of view, I'm not an expert by far. This is still, for many companies, probing the territory. It's like early production series. We don't even have, at least here in Europe, that much charger infrastructure for big trucks. trucks, I guess, in place. So these are going to be operated by specific companies on specific types of deliveries, maybe not like a universal long-haul vehicle yet. We talk about internally about how to introduce these vehicles into the gameplay without making like a wrong impression about the practicality or the utility of these vehicles. So we have to figure it out until this becomes a normal everyday thing you see on the roads and everybody knows how to charge these and where to do this. Until our game world reflects that on charging stations level, we have to also invent a way to drive these vehicles. But that's a part of the challenge. We are looking forward to it. It's cool to have an opportunity for the players to try out new things.
Now, looking into a bit of American Truck Simulator.
Chat, what is this?
Tell us,
LT, okay, it's popping up.
Yes.
So it's the LT with the Scania engine, right?
Yes.
This is like the cooperation across
facelift as well.
The family. Look at the detail that the guys are modeling here inside. I'm always impressed by what's the name for when you have these seats with the seams and the stitching and all that.
And
stitching, yeah. This one people will really laugh.
Okay, it's a classic, right?
Yes.
It's always interesting that when you talk to manufacturers, of course, they would want you to do their latest and the most aerodynamic vehicles, the ones that are probably selling the most in their product mix. But usually when it comes to players, they would like the classics. They would like the old school, and the W900 with all the tuning proves how much opportunities there are for tuning, for customizing the vehicle to your liking, to your kind of personality. Whereas if you take the latest and the smoothest, there's like not so much opportunities to place all these grills and all these crazy things around on the exterior. So
wow, what a beauty. That's such a good looking truck.
I guess this is some early designs for potential paint jobs to bring to players. Okay,
some nice classic looking ones there as well, some retro ones I would say. Very cool
looking forward to it, absolutely.
Let's continue with ATS stuff.
Okay,
I wonder if chat can recognize this one. Yes,
people figuring it out.
It's the, I believe, new model of Peterbilt 579. They call it Ultraloft. The highest, the biggest cap of the production is Ultraloft.
What we are looking at now?
I believe the star and the headrest here can indicate a little bit, but it's not that visible.
It was a bit of a giveaway.
New Mercedes-Benz, they call it MP5.
I think there was MP1, MP2, and then when one would expect MP3, they started calling it New Actros. But then they gave up because everybody in the community or everybody in like the real world kept calling it MP3. So maybe they kept back to numbered series. You see the little symbol on the steering wheel already.
Yes, Chad, it's Volvo. Just as Pavel mentioned, like in this case, I believe that our vehicle department is not only working on the current model, but they are also going to revisit the older version. I think that's what I heard,
because
which is this probably.
We will revisit the previous generation as well, give it our attention.
Yes, so confirming that in the chat, that they are revisiting the original as well. Okay. But let me jump straight to this because I believe this is what you guys in chat want to see the most, probably. I've seen you guys are spamming the hell out of us under every social media post we create. Here you can see the interior of the, I believe they call it Generation 5. Maybe it's just a code name. So let's
so
get some love. These are only 2 images teasing that we are actually planning to do something for Valentine again next year, right?
Yeah, I think our calendar is kind of stabilizing, that we have several events across the year to do. And it's an opportunity to do something in the late winter, early spring period where normally there will be not that much happening, to keep people entertained and engaged and give them a little bit more paint job love. Here's something that we have been provided as an example of nice artwork that's being created.
And the last photo is it's still from the vehicle department, but the vehicle related assets they are creating for various map DLCs and expansions that are already in production as well.
Wow.
Okay, so of course we built a lot of new trucks, a lot of new tractors, but the world around shouldn't be empty. People, multiple variants, need to meet interesting vehicles on the roads as well.
Or even parked machines.
Somebody's going to be happy again.
Oh wow!
Sometimes when I feel like if you're building trees or if you're building places close to water in the US, or if, of course, the north, the polar circle too, you'll be going to ports. Maybe we need higher detail ships as well.
Nebraska State Trooper, okay. Lincoln Police. And Omaha Police. As we said, these are not the only projects that are happening. There is quite a lot more already in production.
We have some really major partnerships in the trailer world coming up for hopefully for next year to show the strength of cooperation across the industry. 1.50 is actually the flag on the horizon when we do release with the new rendering core. It should be an enabler for our future console efforts, for our optimization, multi-core, also like better support in the Mac ecosystem. Hopefully, this is my hope internally, the new refactoring of the code should allow more of our talented programmers to kind of get their hands dirty with shaders, with effects, with like various elements of it. But for now, 1.50 should be just an attempt to stabilize everything on the new core before we move on to the cool new stuff later.